Good morning to all of you. Today we are going to start with new topic, that is derivative or differentiation. So derivative is a mathematical tool which is used to bring out the calculation in a simplified manner. The average rate of change of function over an interval AB is known as difference quotient. The average rate of change of the function f over the interval AB is defined as del f upon del x is equals to fb minus fa b minus a. The slope, this is also equal to the line of slope of a line through points P and Q in the figure. As you are seeing that figure, if you are taking the average of this graph from point P to Q, that is within the range A and B, so we just join these 2 points, and these 2 points joins make a straight line, and the slope of that line is representing the average rate of change of that function over the interval a and b. Let's take an example. If fx equals to x cubed plus x, then rate of change of function f over interval 2 comma 4 is defined as f4 minus f2 upon 4 minus 2. That is, in the function fx equals to x cubed plus x, you put 4, that is the upper limit or upper range, subtract from the lower range upon higher range minus lower range, and that comes out to be 29. This is the rate of change of function over any given interval. The rate of change of function over a plus h can be written as this, and the calculation come out to be as 3a square plus 3h plus h square plus 1. Now, if you are talking about the instantaneous rate of change, that is the average change. But if you are talking about the instantaneous rate of change of any function at x equals to a, because if you want something at any instant, that will not work within the range or the limits. It is just given at the particular value. So the instantaneous rate of change of function at x equals to a is known as the derivative. The instantaneous rate of change of function fx at x equals to a is defined by taking the limit. Here we are going to take the concept of limit. Taking the limit, the average rates of change of function over the intervals a plus h, as h approaches to 0, because we are talking about on the instant, and the time of that instant is equals to 0, or the value h approaches to 0. So instantaneous rate of change is equals to limit h tends to 0 f a plus h minus f a upon h. This is the basic definition of differentiation or derivative. The instantaneous rate of the change of the function, derivative of the function at x, which we write as f dash a. So instantaneous rate of change can be denoted by a notation f dash a, that is equals to limit h tends to 0 f a plus h minus f a upon h. The derivative as slope is geometrical approach. Now, by analyzing the derivative as a slope through a geometric approach, we are going to estimating the slope of the curve at any given point by drawing a tangent over that point. The slope of the second line through x fx and x plus h fx plus h is the same as the average rate of change of function over the interval x plus h, or the difference quotient. Okay. So as you see from the graph that you just draw the, if you are talking about the average rate, then you have to work within the limits, and the range is x plus h. Just join these 2 points, and by joining these 2 points we get a line, and the slope of that line is giving the average rate of change. And if you are asking for the instantaneous rate of change, then we have to approach as the h tends to 0 and use as quotient method. Okay. The slope of the tangent line through x fx is the same as the instantaneous rate of change f at the point x, or the derivative. Let's take an example. Fx equals to 3x square plus 4x. Use a difference quotient. Use a difference quotient. That means The general form of differentiation with h tends to 0.0001 to estimate the slope of the tangent line to the graph of function at the point where x equals to 2. That's it. That means we are asking the instantaneous rate of change when x equals to 2. So first you just do this x plus h and upon x plus h minus, and where the x comes, put the value of x is equals to 2, do the calculation and rearrange the values and get the solution. The derivative as a function, an algebraic approach. Now we move derivative as an algebraic approach. So far, all we have been doing is approximating the derivative of function. Is there a way of computing it exactly? Yes, there is a way of computing it exactly. Recall the derivative of the function f at the point x is the slope of the tangent line rho x comma fx, or the instantaneous rate of change of function at point x. We had seen this for finding out the average rate of change or for finding out the instantaneous rate of change. So the slope of the tangent or the derivative depends on the position of the point P on the curve and therefore on the choice of x. So it's very clear from the graph, the slope of the tangent or the derivative. That is, slope of the tangent is also defined as the derivative of the function depending on the position of the point P where you want to find out the slope of a line on the curve and therefore on the choice of x, at what value of x. Therefore, the derivative is a function of x, and that is why we write it as f dash x. F dash 1 is equal to slope of the tangent at the point of the graph where x equals to 1. So f dash 1 can be read out as it is the slope of the tangent at the point on the graph where x is equals to 1. If we want to find out the slope of a line or slope of the tangent at x equals to minus 4, then we can write that f dash minus 4. Okay, so we can find out the exact value or the instantaneous rate of change of any function given, or the average rate of change of any function given within the range. The derivative f dash x of the function fx is the slope of the tangent at point x fx. So this is the final formulation which you need to memorize in your mind for finding out the average rate of change or instantaneous rate of change at any point given to you or within the range. Okay. In the other words, the derivative is the limit of the difference quotient. In the other words, we can also say that the derivative or the differentiation is the limit of the difference quotient. By the difference quotient, we mean the average rate of change of function f over the interval x plus h. Fine. Now again, some conclusion about the definition of the derivative. A derivative f dash x of a function f depicts how the function f is changing at point x. Function must be continuous at point x in order for there to be derivative at that point. A function which has derivative is said to be differentiable. So the important line is that a function which has derivative is said to be differentiable. And the function which is derivative, we can do the derivative, bring out the derivative by doing the average rate of change or by doing the instantaneous rate of change within a specific value or within a specific range. Okay. The derivative is computed by the concept of del x. Del x is an arbitrary change or increment in the value of x. So derivative is computed. Generally, we are just going to use some notation, and the change in x or change or increment in the value of x is denoted by del or del x. That means the variable can be anything. If the change is with respect to y, then can be del y. If the change in with respect to t, then del t. If the change in with respect to any variable can be used. In general, we use or we because our basic axis or your axis are x-axis and y-axis. We just change the value of x. So in general, we are just want to analyze the change or increment in the value of x only. Okay. Let us take an example. Fx equals to 3x squared plus 4x. The difference quotient is given by. So we need to find out the difference quotient for the given function fx equals to 3x squared plus 4x. So hint, average rate of change of function over x plus h. First, we need to bring out the average rate of change. And we know that average rate of change can be bring out within the range, and we just assume that the range is x comma x plus h. X plus h is the higher point or higher limit, and x is the lower limit. Now take the limit as h tends to 0. There, and finally we want to take the difference quotient as with the limit h tends to 0. And at f dash 1, that is finally when you just calculated f dash x, put 1 where the x comes, and finally we get some solution. Now the other example, let fx equals to 1 by x. Now find out the average rate of change of this function by using the difference quotient. Again, the hint is that you have to take the limit or the range as x comma x plus h. Put the value of x plus h first in the above function, then subtract the value of the above function by putting x divided by x plus h minus x, and limit h tends to 0. Finally, you got the difference quotient after putting the limit h tends to 0. Now, power rule. So for finding out the derivative of any function, which is mentioned in some power form, so this is the power rule. You have to just memorize the rules. These are the some standard results. With the help of these standard results, we are going to conclude the result fast and avoid the consuming of time by using the average quotient, difference quotient method, or instantaneous quotient method. Okay. So the power rule is saying that if you want to find out the derivative of d by dx of any function x to the power n, can be noted as, or can be come out by the average coefficient method, is equals to n x to the power n minus 1. Whatever the power to the n, it comes into the multiplication of x, and x power will reduce by 1. So the final results come out to be n x to the power n minus 1. These are the some examples, quick examples. Function 1 is given to you, function x is given to you, function x square is given to you, function x cube is given to you, and so on. Function x to the power n is given to you. Now you need to find out the derivative of the above function. So we know that if function is 1, the constant, the function 1 is constant, or any constant function, the derivative of any constant function is come out to be 0. If we want to find out the derivative of x, the derivative of x come out to be 1. The derivative of x square is equals to 2 in the multiplication of x, and the power of x is reduced by 1, so it will become 2 minus 1 is equals to 1, 2x to the power 1. Similarly, if the function is x to the power 3, so to find out the differentiation of x to the power 3, 3 comes in the multiplication of x, and the power of x is reduced by 1, that comes out to be 3x square, and so on. Similarly, for the negative powers, or power rule works for the negative signs or negative powers also in the very same way. If function is defined as 1 by x to the power 4, you can rewrite the function as is equals to x to the power minus 4. Now, to find out the differentiation, we just bring out minus 4, that is with algebraic sign, minus 4 in multiplication to x, and x power is reduced by 1, and that will become x to the power minus 5. Minus 4 minus 1, it will become minus 5. So f dash x is equals to minus 4 x to the power minus 5. You can rearrange as x to the power minus 5 will come to the denominator side, and it will become minus 4 upon x to the power 5. There are some few examples. Function which resemble or which give the solution for the power rule. function fx equals to x to the power. This is the general form. 1x, x square, x cube, 1 by x, 1 by x square, 1 x square. These are the differentiation by using the general rule method or power rule. Suppose if an example, if fx equals to x cube, then find f dash x. F dash x is equal to 3x square. We say that f dash x equals to 3x square. Very simple. The derivative of x cube with respect to x equals to 3x square. The way of reading out the notation is the derivative of x cube is with respect to x is equals to 3x square. The derivative of with respect to x by the symbol. How to denote the language with a symbol, the derivative with respect to x is d by dx. So derivative with respect to x, the notation d by dx means derivative with respect to x. Thus, for instance, d by dx of x cube means the derivative of x cube is equals to 3x square, which we had already discussed. The derivative of sum, difference, and constant multiples. If any function is provided to you, and if that function is the combination of two or two more function with the sum or with the algebraic sign of sum and difference, and a constant multiple is also associated with that functions, then how to find out the derivative of that functions? So there is a property to find out the derivative of a function which is the combination of some algebraic sign like sum and difference, and a constant multiple is altogether associated with them. If f dash x and g dash x exist and c is constant, then suppose a function is given to you. A function is in the form of summation fx plus minus gx. You need to find out the derivative for this. So you can individually apply the derivative to both the functions separately and find out the derivative, and you can rewrite according to this property. And if any constant c is multiplied to any function, so bring the constant outside. If the function is multiplied with the constant value, bring the constant outside and you just do the differentiation of function alone and do the multiplication of constant afterwards. So these are the properties of differentiation. In differential notation, just these rules or these properties are rewritten. D by dx of fx plus minus gx is equals to d by dx of fx plus minus d by dx of gx. Similarly, if the constant is multiplied to a function, it can be written as differentiation of c fx. You are asked to find out the differentiation of whole c fx. So you can bring out the constant outside and you just go for the differentiation or derivative of fx alone. The quotient fx by gx. If we want to find out the average quotient of fx by gx, a function is represented in the dividend form. So if fx and gx are differentiable, then if we apply the quotient average method, we just rewrite d by dx of fx by gx in this way, and we just do the calculation putting all the values, and after completing and solving all the brackets, we just put the limit h tends to 0, and finally we conclude to some formula which is given as if function fx is divided by gx and you need to find out the derivative. So the derivative of that type of functions can be bring out by this formula thoroughly without using the average quotient method again and again. So how to find out this? If fx upon gx, so this is in the denominator, gx is in the denominator, so just take the square of the gx square. Now gx differentiation of fx, that is the numerator, minus numerator into differentiation of denominator. So just keep in mind this generalized formula for finding out the differentiation if the functions are divided in the form of dividend formula, division. There are a few examples which is based on the properties in the formula. To find out the example first, to find out the differentiation of 3x cubed plus 4x minus 9 is equals to 3x square plus 4 into 1 minus 1 minus 0, which finally come out to be 9x square plus 4. So you are just applying the power rule and the constant rule, and you finally find out the differentiation of a function given in front of you. Similarly, if the powers are given of any variable in terms of fractional, 1.2 or decimal form or the fractional form, so you can just bring out the derivative in a very same way by using the power rule, and result will be come out. Similarly, the example d by dx 4x to the power 0.2 plus 9.6 minus 2 by x to the power 3 can be differentiated by using the power rule. Now, the next topic is limit and continuity. Numerical approach. Estimating limits numerically. If any function is given as fx equals to x cube minus 8 upon x minus 2, what happens f to fx as x approaches 2? That means he's asking the value of function. He's asking the value of function which is given above at when the function approaches x is equals to 2. So when we put the value of 2 in the numerator and denominator, we find that the functions come out to be 0 by 0 form. And 0 by 0 form is nothing, it is indeterminate form. So as you are approaching towards 2 for the above function, so the finally you find it that if you are directly putting the value, the result will come out to be indeterminate. So we need to find out exact value of or the approximate of value of fx when the function reaches to the 2. So for calculating the function fx as x approaches 2, we use the limit concept. Limit x tends to 2, fx is equals to 12. How this final answer 12 come out to be? So if 0 by 0 forms come, then you need to apply the L'Hospital rule. L'Hospital rule says that first you differentiate the numerator separately, then you differentiate the denominator separately, and after that apply the limit. Suppose in the numerator we are see that x cube minus 8 is written. So we are going to differentiate the numerator. We find that it come out to be 3x square because 8 is a constant, and finally the differentiation of a constants are 0. So 3x square minus 0 upon differentiation of x come out to be 1. So this the differentiation of the denominator come out to be 1 minus 0. So the final differentiation of the function is 3x square upon 1. Now you put the value of x over here. X is equals to 2. So 3x square. X square will become 2 square will become 4. 4 into 3 will become 12. So the final answer come out to be 12. So when you are dealing with the limits and continuity question, first we are going to check out whether the limit exists or not. If the limit exists, then and then only we are just going to solve the question further. And if the function fx, after putting the value directly in the function, if we come out with the result of 0 by 0 or infinite by infinite, that's mean indeterminate form, then you need to apply the L'Hospital rule. And L'Hospital rule says that you need to differentiate numerator separately and the denominator separately. And after differentiating numerator and denominator separately, you just put the value of h or value of x in the remaining function and do the calculation and finally get the result. So definition of a limit, if limit x tends to a minus fx equals to L. As x approaches the number from the left, a minus shows that you are moving from left hand sides toward the function with a particular value. Fx approaches the number L. And secondly, limit x tends to a plus, which means that you are approaching from right hand side towards the value which is mentioned in the function, right? If the left limit and the right limit exist and are equal to L, then we say that limit x tends to a fx exists and equal to L, and we write that limit x tends to a fx is equal to L. As x approaches the number from both the side, fx approaches the single number L. Now take an example. If any function fx is given like this, x square plus x minus 12 upon x minus 3, and limit is x tends to 3. Limit is x tends to 3. If you directly put the value of x, which is equal to 3, in the given function, then you find that 3 square 9, 9 plus 3 12, 12 minus 12 0, 3 minus 3 0. This will become 0 by 0, which is indeterminate form. So you cannot put the value of x directly over here, and if the after putting the value of x directly over here we get 0 by 0 or indeterminate form, then we move with the L'Hospital rule, that is differentiating the numerator separately and denominator separately, and after differentiating we put the value of x equals to 3 over there and do the calculation, find out the result. So if we start differentiating the numerator x square plus x minus 12, this will come out to be 2x plus 1. 2x plus 1 in the numerator side and 1 in the denominator side after differentiating. So the final form of the function will become 2x plus 1. Now put the value of x equals to 3 in this function. 2x, 2 into 3, 6 plus 3, 9. So the final answer come out to be 9. Okay. Similarly, if this function and the limit is given as x tends to minus 5, okay, so limit x tends to minus 5 minus limit x tends to minus 5 plus, if both the functions limit are come equal, then we can directly say the limit x tends to minus 5 gx. You just see there is a slight change. If both the limit from the left hand side and from the right hand side come out to be equal, then combinedly we can write the function like this, and we get the values like this for the above function. Limit and continuity graphical approach. So the graphical approach for finding out the limit and continuity, or the graphical analysis is how to get what do you mean by the limit and continuity of any function is given to you. Suppose to find out the graphical approach of any function given fx is given to you and limit x tends to minus 2. Limit x tends to minus 2. That means when you are approaching the function towards minus 2 from both the side, from the left hand side and from the right hand side for the function, and you want to find out the value of minus 2 for the given function, then to find out the value of function with the approach of graph, we can move like this to decide whether the limit r tends to x a f x exists, and to find its value if it does. Draw the graph of fx either by hand or by using a graphic calculator. So first you need to find out or to draw the graph of the function. Position your pencil point or the graphic calculator, trace cursor on a point of the graph to right of x equals to a. In the example yesterday, we are estimating x tends to minus 2. Okay. From the right, the value of y coordinate approaches, if any, is limit x tends to a plus fx. if we are moving towards the point x minus 2, so we are moving from the right hand side towards to this side. Okay, so we are just pointing out the highest peak of y value in the function or through the graph is like this. The y coordinate is approaching 2 as x approaches minus 2. From the right, repeat 2 and 3 steps, but this time starting from a point on the graph to the left, x equals to, when approach x equals to a along the graph on the left. The y coordinate approaches is then limit x tends to a minus fx. Okay. The y coordinate is again approaching as x approaches minus 2 from the left, limit this. If the left and right limit both exist and have the same value L, then limit x tends to a fx is equals to exists and equals to L. The left and right limits both exist and equal to 2, and so as you see through the graph, at the value of minus 2, we find the value of function is 2. So as and when you are approaching from right hand side towards the minus 2, and as and when you are approaching from left hand side towards minus 2, so the value of y is going to be vary, and at x equals to 2x and x equals to 2, finally the value of y come out to be 2 by analyzing the graph. So this is the graphical approach and it is simplest, but make sure the graph must be almost well corrected. Now limit x tends to 2, x square minus 3x, 2x plus 3. If we directly put the value of x equals to 2 in this example, so the come out to be 4 minus 3 to just 6, 4 minus 2 upon 4 plus 3, 7. So minus 2 upon 7. And minus 2 upon 7 can be directly calculated and come out to be minus 2 by 11. 24, 4 plus minus 2 plus 7. Okay. Notice that you can obtain the same answer by simply substitute x equal to 2 in the given function. Is that all there is to evaluating limits algebraically? Just substitute the number of x approaches in the given expression. Answer: the function is continuous to the value of x in the question. Continuous function. Now the topic is continuous function. Functions are of two types: continuous function and discrete function. A continuous function is also called analog function or analog in nature, and without breakup, if any function or message is in continuous form, is known as continuous function. And discrete function is an example of digital function. Digital functions are known as discrete function. So we need to check out the continuity of function. The function fx is continuous at x equals to a. Suppose if we want to find out any function fx is continuous at x is equal to a or a particular value, then its limits exist. Limit x tends to a, fx exists and it equals to fa. The function f is said to be continuous in its domain if it's continuous at each point in its domain. If f is not continuous particular point a, we say that f is discontinuous at a, or that f function is discontinuous at a. Let us evaluate. Limit x tends to 2, limit 3 square plus x minus 10 upon x plus 2. So first we find out the limit. If the limit exists, then the function is continuous at x equals to 2. Ask yourself the following question: is the function fx a closed form function? Is the value x equals to a in the domain of fx? Okay. So first check the two conditions, and after that move forward. The statement d by dx x square upon x5, x square upon x5, the differentiation. This is an example. You have to choose the right answer. What is the right answer for this function given to you? X square upon x5. What is the d by dx of x square upon x5? We cancel out x square by x5 and come out to be x cube, 1 upon x cube. The final form is 1 upon x cube, and final form of 1 by x cube. And if you want to find out the differentiation, the answer would come out to be minus 3 by x to the power 4. So the given answer, according to the statement, is wrong. It is already mentioned that it is wrong. Then which is the correct answer? So option A is the right answer. Quadratic formula or derivative or derivation. Now, if any quadratic equation of the type x square plus bx plus q or ax square plus bx plus c equals to 0 is given to you, the derivation of the quadratic formula for the roots of this quadratic equation, we know the roots of these quadratic equation are alpha beta, and it come out to be minus b plus minus root b square minus 4ac by 2a. So ultimately, by going the derivative, we can calculate the roots, and the roots are in front of you. Subtract by 2, this x equals to minus b by 2a, 2 minus plus minus root b square minus 4ac by 2a. So we all know that, so we are not going in the detail for finding out the roots of any quadratic equation by using the differentiation. Now the product rule. We had learned the quotient rule for finding out the derivative of two functions which are mentioned in the dividend form. If the two functions are in the form of product, if the variables are same almost and the functions can multiply easily, we can do the multiplication and finally find out the derivative by using the power rule or the constant rule and bring out the derivative. But some functions which are collectively multiplied altogether but cannot go for the differentiation, so we need to apply the multiple rule over there. As x changes, the area changes from the area of the red rectangle ux vx to the area of the largest rectangle. The sum of the red, green, blue, and yellow rectangle. The change in the area of the sum of the area of the green, blue, and yellow rectangle. Product rule and quotient rule. This is the product rule. Quotient rule we had seen. So two functions are multiplied all together. You need to find out the differentiation. So use that fx as the first function. So differentiate the first function, then multiply the second function plus first function, differentiate the second function. In quotient rule, fx upon gx is mentioned like this. So take the denominator as square. Derivative of first function multiplication with second function minus first function derivative of second function. Now find the derivative of function. For example, if you are taking this example, fx equals to 4x cube minus x to the power 4 multiplied to 11x minus root x. Basically, this question is in the form of x. You can directly go with the multiplication and apply the sum or subtract property of the derivative and directly bring out the solution, or you can go with the multiplication rule. These are the some examples to find out the derivative, and they are easy. If function f and g are differentiable functions such that f2 and so on, then you can, if the function is differentiable, then you can find the value of any function at any particular point by putting the values of x which is given in the question, and you get the definite answer. This is one more example given in front of you. Find dy by dx where yx is equals to 8x minus 1 multiplied to x square plus 4x plus 7 multiplied to x cube minus 5. This is the differentiation of any function as three functions are multiplied all together. So you need to do or you need to apply the product rule by keeping two functions as one function and one function is the first function and two functions combinedly or jointly known as the second function. And again, you need to apply the differentiation by using the product rule. Here, the product rules comes into existence twice a time. To keep in mind and make sure there is no algebraic mistake. This is an example. If functions are multiplied all together, you can find out the differentiation by using the product rule. This is the quotient rule. We had already discussed the quotient rule, and this is the one example related to the quotient rule. So that's for today. Thank you. In the next class, we are starting in continuation of this lecture, and we are going to learn further basic fundamental standard results of derivative. Thank you.